Tamara Hunter, and today is day number 236. 236 of 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. And I am honored to present to you someone that means a lot to me, that is out there to help us to make the world a better place. Our service hero, his name is Kent Glade SWAMPY. Let me tell you a little bit about SWAMPY. I'm going to call you SWAMPY. I met SWAMPY in San Diego, though when you hear him, you're going to kind of get an idea of where he's from, wink, wink. And, we immediately kind of hit it off because we're both people with causes that we truly, to our core, believe in. And so I'm gonna not steal too much of your thunder right now because I want to get into it with you. Welcome, Swampy. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for what you do. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why I'm calling you Swampy?
Well, Tamara, that's what I'm saying. We had a great experience out there at our talk, international gathering of speakers. And I first want to acknowledge you. Thank you for letting me be on today. And I want to acknowledge what you do as far as chemo and cancer patients and just how you uplift folks. I get involved a lot. I'll tell the little folks, I got hit by a 41-ton rock truck. And I got involved with the body. So again, I appreciate what you're doing. You have to really realize we have a great organism here, just the body, the brain, and everything, how it works. So I just want to, again, thank you very much. Again, my name is Swampy. It's actually Swampy.
It's Swampy.
Yeah. And I am a professional wetland scientist. And I've got a lot of really different types of experience from environmental. I love wetlands. My big thing is I got a bachelor's of science from the University of Kentucky in forestry. And, got the hardwoods down. I'm like, I want to get into the weeds. So at that point, Tam, I started getting involved in the weeds, and we used key plant IDs. And wetlands are a passion of mine. It's a resource where we've lost 90 to 95% of our wetlands in the country. And it's really at a critical stage right now because, unfortunately, this time we're using a lot of our water regulation, the protection for clean water and clean air under the different Clean Water Act, Clean Air Act. And it's important to have jobs, obviously, but we really need to have a sustainable future. And I love wetlands, Tam. There's different kinds of wetlands. There's lake wetlands, lacustrines. There's rivers. There's estuaries. There's marine systems. All these beautiful, and the ecology, Tam. And that's where I just love the interspersion. Here we have on the left-hand side, this was the Mississippi River. 1811 New Madrid earthquake. So that's actually a picture in New Madrid, Missouri, Tam. And just an opportunity to do that and just to share. I've been very blessed, and just to meet great people like yourself, some people with a passion, mission for what they're doing. I've been doing Swampy since 1995. I've got a funny story we can talk about maybe later.
I love your stories. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna bring these pictures down as soon as my system decides to let them. Okay, I'm gonna show. Let's see. Did I get the picture? For some reason it's not here. Oh yes. Okay, this one kind of shows it. I think you actually you take a persona on. Oh yes, here it is. You're in there with the kids, right?
There's my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just great. We do summer programs. We've got a program coming up the 26th, 4 days after Earth Day in Wilmore, Kentucky. And kids will just simply amaze you with their creativity. And I just love being able just to embrace them in the aspects of soils, the waters, the plants, and the ecology, the interaction between all those Tams. I just love sharing, and they really will impress you. So I give kudos to the kids.
You know, and our next generation, thank goodness. Oh, and I'm wearing my token green or earth kind of color because I don't have a lot of them, but I grabbed what I could because I was like, okay, you're really about helping to educate our next generation, and there's a big day that's coming up here, right? Earth Day.
Right, April 22nd.
And what is it that you when they gather, for example, this looks like fun. It looks like something I would love to do, and it's around trees, so I could actually do it because the son and I are not really like friends. We're not buddies. I'm allergic to it. So, but going out there, being around the trees and an environment and everything, that just looks like fun. What do they do when you're working with them?
Wow. Well, let's again, I just break it into the different aspects of Swampy, but I incorporate a few things, Tam. We have some big issues going on right now with climate, fresh water. We have just like 0.1% of the actual globe's waters is drinkable. And we have, with climate change, we're having droughts. We're having more severe disasters. My emphasis, again, is wetlands and clean water, but I do have an entirely different approach to climate. I call it climate care. It's not either pro or con. It's somewhere in the middle that we can meet. And Tam, real quick, I'm from Kentucky. The coal industry is real big in Kentucky.
Right. And
we have a lot of folks in Eastern Kentucky that are very dependent on that as far as jobs and standard of living. So I feel for these guys, but I try to be a good scientist. And by the way, I want to share something with you. Bill Nye, the science guy, he's not an actual scientist. He's a mechanical engineer. I'm just teasing, Bill.
Oh yeah, you guys. Okay, if you haven't figured it out yet, Swampy has a sense of humor, and he goes out there. Your garb, your outfit. When I met you, you're in overalls that are painted, right, to represent like the. Why don't you explain how it's all kind of put together? Because you really, Swampy actually means something, right? Your name.
And, absolutely. It's a part, Tam, real quick, on my overalls. That's the part where I do Kent Glade. I put on my overalls, which is really kind of agricultural for farmers. And in the middle of my overalls is blue in the line of Swampy written in front of it. So it kind of goes in front of here. Next to that blue, which glistens, I have brown, which are for the soils. Outside of that, I have green, which are for the vegetation. And those are the three parameters that we look at when we actually delineate wetlands. So that's the Kent Glade Swampy overalls. The actual other character, Tam, is that, but it's funny, I've got Velcro where you can put on animals that stick onto the water. And you have frogs and you have snakes and kids going, and guess what? Oh no, just to get that, I have swamp tunes underneath the costume. All right. And I crank the volume of that, and the kids, it's like a feeding frenzy, and the parents don't know what to do, and the police don't know what to do, because I typically don't get a permit. I try to, but not all the time. A lot of good energy, and basically it's just bringing the outdoor, the wetlands to life, and it's making a real connection, especially folks who are in urban areas. As far as we need to be careful, everybody. Oh, great, Tam. Right here is an example of Swampy. And that's what I've got, the rollerblades. I've got the swamp tunes. I've got my Swampy costume. I've got a snake. I've got a stick. I've got a Swampy hat there and Swampy mugs on Cafe Press. But it's part of being creative. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have a Swampy doll, one or two, right, over here.
That's what I'm telling. And the Swampy doll, what's funny about this is I've got these two basically graphics and ask them which one. Well, obviously, the one on the left shows like my costume. See the blue in the middle? And it forms the word Swampy right under his neck. And it's blue. Next to that's brown and green for the vegetation. And that's swampy. And the blue areas where you can attach creatures. And then sometimes I put on trash. I'll have like old dirty diapers, newspapers, used oil cans. And the kids take that off, revealing the clean swampy. So, yeah.
Oh, I love it. So it's an interactive costume.
It is. Well, I'll tell you what, it sure is. I know I've been out in Irvine, Kentucky there, partner, but I love California.
Yeah. You know, I just, I mean, I have to say that everything about Swampy it's genius in my mind because it's just so unique and so much fun. And even your whole presentation and your voice and just everything, because you come across like, okay, I'm from my neck of the woods and very unassuming, and yet you are very, very, you know, the biology of it, or you know the geology of it, or what the science behind it, right? And because you've been working in this industry, you know this industry, you've studied this industry. Why don't you talk a little bit about your background?
Yeah, let me tell you about that real quick. I lost my mom, my dad when I was 1, my mother at 12. I grew up in an orphanage in Louisville, Kentucky at the Masonic Home. So I had for some reason, a real passion. So I attended school at Murray State for 2 years in Western Kentucky, got a BS in forestry at UK, and I got a master's at Kentucky State in MPA in public administration. And, you know, after that, Tam, I was just very fortunate to be given challenges, and I just loved doing challenges. I worked for the state of Kentucky regulating the coal industry for like almost 12 years. And you're getting involved with, you know, endangered habitat, historical resources. We've got a place down in southeastern Kentucky called the Cumberland Gap National Historical Park. I was the lead permit reviewer for a coal company to mine in the viewshed of the Cumberland Gap. So there was a lot of pressure on that.
Oh, wow. And, you know, that is a fascinating industry to me. And I have to say, I don't know a lot about it, quite honestly. But I'm fascinated by it. And you said it so well in the fact that it's, you know, there's the part that people depend on it for their livelihood. Right. Many people depend on the outcome of the results, you know, that they need that to keep things going. You have the long-term aspects of it. You have the short-term aspects of it. Right. You have a lot of political, you know, opinions in regards to it. And then you have any kind of accidents or disasters that take place. And then you've got frontline center and a lot of media and a lot of attention, you know, signed on it. And then people taking an opinion when they don't necessarily understand the whole dynamics of the whole story. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I know that. And that's one of the things I remember when you and I visited, that I thought, okay, you know, I love your, and I think we even talked about this, because, you know, you can go into it and you can take one stand and then you could be in a quagmire. You can, you know, like if you start going here, you get into that political place, you get into a place where people get really, really, you know, heated, if you will, a debate. Like with dealing with cancer, if I went into what kind of treatment, what kind of, you know, whatever it may be, that's a heated debate. You know, is there a cure? Well, I don't even go there. You know, that's not my mission. My mission is buddies. Your mission is education and getting and letting people know about what is happening in, you know, and you're taking it out there through Swampy. Now, I want to go back to something you said, because I really want to ask it. You said that there's less than 1% of the water is drinkable. Can you say that again?
It's like less than 1%. There's only so much that I'll say the word is clean water. Okay. And then so much of that's actually been treated. So there's all these different applications of waters. You know, Tam, when we got involved with coal mining, we looked at something called acidity and pH. Something was basic or alkaline. I mean, and you can go on. When you mine for certain things, you have heavy metals released in water. And there's all these different aspects. A lot of times when you'll have developments, you have these micro elements, okay, that are in the water column, okay?
Right.
And EPA and so forth are involved with this. So, yeah, even though we have all this water, okay, we have less than 1%, okay, that's actually, first it's clean water, then it's drinking water. And there's real problems, especially in Africa and other countries.
Right.
And it's up to us to bring that to them, if you will,
Right.
and at least do that. Now, obviously, we have to deal with malaria and other aspects, but we need to protect the endangered habitats while we try to eliminate malaria, which means we need to impact wetlands sometimes. We need to be careful about the creatures in the wetlands because sometimes that's their last areas, Tam, you know. So
yeah, you have one of these that you sent over. Is this one of the creatures?
Yeah, it is a creature. That's an actual creature.
I think it's an adorable creature, actually. I was like, oh, that's so cute. Let me just say, for those that are watching right now, if you can do #live, #replay, and if you're watching in a replay, what I would also love, I know that there's a lot of people that watch internationally. Today, why don't we do this? Why don't we just put where you're from? Because I'd like to be able to, and if anybody's here live right now that wants to, share where you're from, I'd love to be able to kind of highlight some of these different areas, because Swampy would be able to kind of like, okay, when you were talking about the different places throughout the United States, I'm thinking, yeah, we have viewers from those areas that are and buddies actually from those areas, because we are international, and it's something that's near and dear to me. I have a lot of friends that I know, a lot of people in the nonprofit world, and some of them are really big. Even some of my family members are very big about drinking water and the issues that are actually, so many places are facing the drinking water issue outside the United States especially. But when you said that, that's why I wanted to come back, because with that percentage, I'm thinking that's an issue everywhere.
Right.
And we may not realize that as much as, because I'm doing the math in my mind and I'm thinking, wow.
Exactly. Like billions of people. The two major areas as we look forward to Earth Day coming up April the 22nd, there's two major areas that I'm seeing, Tam. One of those involves our huge problems with plastic, specifically single-use plastics. We have so much plastic now, even our oceans are filled with plastic. And that's a major issue in the environmental community, almost more so than climate, okay? That plastics are big this year. The second area they're focusing on this year is endangered wildlife habitats.
Right.
And we're finding out, if we want to keep these beautiful tigers and lions, and we have poachers destroying the last vestiges of rhinoceroses,
Right.
And
right.
So we got to take care of these places.
In fact, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I'm in the top 50 of the next impactor, and there's 5 different teams. One of the other, and we were to pick a nonprofit to highlight, to find donations for, and whatever else they need. And one of the other teams actually chose gorillas, and it was for that very reason. And I didn't know. She was talking about, she didn't know either. So she did some research, and that there's only like 800 gorillas left or something, and that they need and they were figuring out that something about that they eat the fruits and the vegetables, and then that fruit and vegetable that goes through their body, and then because of the extra, with the poop, let's just say it, Tamaraism, that it helps to then create that environment, right? And that they were going to team with Ellen, I believe, because she's starting to put some locations together to try to
Okay.
change this. And so anyway, it was fascinating. I only had that show a day or two ago,
Okay.
or
Wow.
somewhere ago. And so here you're talking about that. I'm like, wow, this is interesting, because it is such an issue, and we are taking it for granted that that do-overs are so easy, and
Right.
there's no do-overs if we don't take care of this, right?
Yeah. There's no planet B. There's only one planet. Tam, what I'm also interested in my son, Corey. He loves astrophysicists, John Nass, Einstein, Newton.
Right.
I will never forget one time the Voyager spacecraft was leaving our solar system. And it looked back, and there was one little piece of sand, and that was our planet. And we have such an awesome ecosystem. We have what's called the atmosphere. We have what's called the hydrosphere, which is the water part. What goes around comes around. We have the lithosphere, which is the land.
Okay.
We have the living organisms, which is the biosphere. And then we have men and women called technosphere. And there's all these spheres of influence. So.
Oh, wow. I love that. That's cool. Okay.
Birthday speech.
All right. So, since you just explained that, why don't you tell us what swampy means? Because it actually stands for something, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. Thanks very much. Again, when I was reviewing coal mining permits, in Kentucky, and Halloween came around. So I thought, I'm going to make me a Halloween costume. All right. So I was really involved with wetlands and really got excited about it. So I painted this character. So here I am in my office, and right before the day, every day I add something onto my door, a fly, a piece of dirt. And every day people are going, what's he doing? What's he getting ready to do? So finally Halloween came in there, and I came out and I had all this dry ice coming out, and I had my swampy costume on my rollerblades, and people started pulling out of here, and cars started stopping, and the commissioner, and they go, well, at that time, Gary, why don't you take it on the road? So I'm like, let's do this. So anyway, but really, what really kind of gets me upset, a lot of people talk about draining the swamp, right? Well, it's kind of like Rodney Dangerfield of ecosystems, right? But wetlands do serve valuable functions and values. They clean our water. Tam, they're the last homes of fish and wildlife, endangered species. Hunting and fishing is dependent on it. Ecotourism, just so many different things. Just getting out, watching, enjoying. Boardwalks, going to the ocean, fishing, just so many different. I can go to the rainforest, I can go to the mountains and the lakes and all these neat things. Oh, here I am in California, not a big rock. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, well, you just mentioned the ocean, so I thought, okay, yeah, I'll bring that up. I'll put that up there. So swampy, actually, okay, I'm going to go there because I want to break down what it means. So S, swampy,
yeah,
soil,
notice it's brown for soils. See the brown? You'll see on the left-hand side.
Right.
The waters are blue, so it's kind of holistic. Red, that stands for animals because they're like lifeblood indicators for humans, right?
Right.
Then the M is mankind, womankind. It's not black or white, but it's silver. Okay, some grading there. And then we have green for plants, which I love. That's like my botanist side, right? And
yeah.
Y is for youth, and it's the sunshine. And so we have, it's holistic. Seriously, it's kind of circular, and it works really well. Kids, you'll see also underneath it is the planet there. So the other thing I wanted to share with you, Tam, right now, I'm taking an international environmental education course with Cornell Education. So we're talking to people all over the world involving environmental education.
Oh, that's great.
Learning, like you say, from all around the world, what are their problems? Yeah, not just about you. What is their issues, So,
wow. Okay. Okay. So this is interesting. So interesting. I had to say something. When I was a kid, my step grandfather, he actually was an ambassador. He was over the foreign exchange student program for Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, which is an agricultural school, right? And they brought a lot of like the crowned heads and all these from different like emerging countries, you know, like the prince or this or that, because they needed to learn about the plants and planting and trying to get the most out of their soil and everything. And this is back in the 70s and the 80s, back then, right? And
Exactly.
and it was so interesting. And so when we would go up and visit, I was from San Diego County, so we'd go up to that area, San Luis Obispo, and we would get to sit with these people for dinner. And we're here, I'm just this little person, and we're talking about, I remember how they would talk about how they are there and how they need to be able to learn to be able to produce what we take for granted here in the United States, that it's so important, their education, and they take it on. And so I remember that. And so I've watched throughout the years, and it's still a challenge.
Yeah.
Our world is when it comes to all of when you're talking about the soils, and then you talk about the water, and then the irrigation and all of this. And I mean, you got me fueled right now. I'm like totally passionate about this, because we need to buy into it.
It's just a beautiful planet. You know, here we are. Okay. We have a planet. We have a moon that's stationed just right. Okay. That creates these beautiful things called currents and tides.
Right.
There you go in the mind. And it's just an awesome way. If it was off just so far here or there, but it generates this beautiful thing called tides. And it has this thing called food webs and food chains. And whether you're talking about Florida and the Everglades, which I love, and I didn't share it with you, by the way, also, I've also worked for FEMA. Federal Emergency Management.
Oh yeah, a few people know who they are.
I was down there with Hurricane Wilma.
Really?
Yeah, got a chance to
remember that. Okay, yeah. Interesting.
That was right after Katrina. You know, right. Katrina came back and it was a wet hurricane. Then Wilma came off the Yucatan and it was dry. So they had two different types of hurricanes. But again, I get involved with natural disasters when you talk about climate. I've done what's called the public assistance, working with local governments, restoring their infrastructure.
Wow.
So it's great, Tam, just to come in and help people like what you do, okay? And my big life mission also, Tam, I turn entropy into energy, disorder into order.
You know, is this, I mean, I look at this is your logo, right?
Yes, that's Swampy.
and you know, when you're saying that, as I'm looking at it, because I actually was looking at it, and then, okay, we've got this little head here. Is that Swampy, the head? Yes. Or
this is my cartoon character, Swampy. You'll see.
Okay. You were talking about that. Yeah.
Blue on the back. He's got the brown. He's got the green coming up his arm and on the sides, eyes popping out. And then you see the arrows, blue areas, brown, etc. So again, it's holistic. And yeah, Swampy's over there. And I apologize. I do need to upgrade my my graphics, but I'm a one-man show so far. So hey.
Yeah, hey, I get that. Don't worry about it. And that's not going to be forever, because it takes a while. We're in that same place, in that when you feel called, and you feel that this is a calling, don't you?
Absolutely. In my very essence and heart. I mean, I found these things again called wetlands, okay? And they're so beautiful how they work. Like you talk about wetlands. Wetlands rise and fall along a gradient. Mm-hmm. And the soils are either aerobic with air for upland areas, or due to saturation, they become anaerobic, which is without oxygen. So you have different changes in the soils. You have different kind of plants along the gradient. And that's awesome, as well.
It's making me it's giving me a whole new appreciation. And this is going to sound really funny, but this is the way my mind works, because I love I love I love movies. I love all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, it's kind of funny, but I am remembering the swamplands in a particular beginning of an HBO series that was on for a while, and their song that was like, and you saw the swamplands, or you think of uh, 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 Disneyland, the Pirate of the Caribbean, you know, the swampland. Yeah, that one. You know, yeah. Yeah, and you know, and I think about the old, you know, the old wood homes, and the, you know, and that whole mystic fun, and I hear music in the background right now as you're talking.
You know, that's okay. That's loving, especially as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going. It's like, oh, this sounds like, okay, I'm ready for a trip, because, you know, I see it a whole different way. You really are just bringing a whole energy out there to, like, okay, don't overlook this. It's, you know, it's like, of course you think of the ocean, or you think of the mountains, you know, and everything. But now I'm having a whole new appreciation for our swamplands, and our swamplands. I had no clue how critical they were to the health of everything else. And that is so important. Now, this logo and your character, Swampy, you actually created, you have like a cartoon or something that you are in the middle of creating a whole possible show, or tell us about that. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, that's just kind of something, again, that I do. It's a little fun, Tam. It's Reese in California. Hello, I'm coming. You know, I have this creative mind, and it's a real gift. The main thing I did was, like, I'm doing Swampy, and then I'm a big fan. Of course, everybody loves Twilight Zone, right?
Right.
Back in my day, we watched what was called the Time Tunnel. Okay.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying. We grew up. Yeah, exactly. We as kids, we had all those great things. So I thought, well, this is kind of neat. So I combined my love for the environment, and then I thought of famous and infamous characters. And I thought, well, there's a character. His name is Kent Glade, and he goes through a celestial hydric time tunnel. And he lands in different areas, and he meets famous and infamous people. So while he's there, you learn a little bit about the environment. You get a chance to history. One of my first episodes, by the way, was called Founding Fathers in the Fog.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And real quick, it involves who? George Washington. He actually worked in the Great Dismal Swamp. And then there was a conflict between Thomas Jefferson, which he epitomizes states' rights, versus Alexander Hamilton, who epitomized federal, the big government. And they have this battle between themselves. Who makes the call? Our founding father, George Washington. So you kind of incorporate all that, the environment, and a little bit of Hollywood in there. So, you know.
I love it. I'm trying to bring up your image for it, but we showed it before, that hydric zone, right?
Yeah, picture in the hydric zone. And again, the main thing is I've got like 5 episodes so far, and it goes everywhere from World War II to 1811. I have what's called wetland pirates or marsh madness. Okay. And that's where a lot of our early pioneers, they first started. Okay. Like the Jamestown. Okay. The founding of Jamestown. They first started out in marshlands. They got sick, and the Native Americans told them, you need to come out there, fellas. You're going to, you know. But it's those history, you know what I'm saying? You can connect that way. Okay.
Right. Absolutely. Brilliant. And educational, because again, kind of circling back, you have a desire to get out there and help teach the kids and get into, you know, have these programs out there for them.
Exactly. And let me also mention to you one other thing, Tam. We had previously mentioned before getting online, you know, we have different, in the past more so than right now, but they have what's something called STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And then they came in and added arts, okay, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So old Mr. Swampy comes back and he's created his entirely new system called STREAM: science, technology, and reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And Tammy, the reading involves writing, reading, and English. And those are the three subjects that kids are tested for in the ACT that the other areas don't get into. So, yeah.
You know, hats off to you for that. You have such a passion for the environment, and that, like what you said in Swampy, the animal actually has a let's see, no, and mankind, mankind. Right. It's the
M. Like land uses, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so the mankind and womankind. And so you're using all of the, so it fits underneath your umbrella.
Sure.
And yet you are about educating us about the land and helping our youth to see that they need to take action now for themselves and for our planet.
Exactly. And I do it K-6. That's where I use Swampy, the basics. Okay. Just the basics, using the color coded, the holistic. Kids love that stuff. They love, I put little animal mask, okay, like a little duck, a little frog, okay. They just love that stuff. And then 7 through 12, a little more advanced, you're preparing them for college.
Right.
Then you get more involved with STREAM. And that's where you, again, incorporate English, reading, and writing, as well as the other areas. So, yeah, there's 2 different modes there. And I'm just honored to be able to put that out just to help kids. It's about the kids and
yes,
helping them the best way to go.
You were saying that like, if you could really make this and take it out there, you would like to be able to take it out and find, you even have some people that you would like to get involved. You were saying, you know, different types of people. What do you need to take your program out there?
Well, thanks for asking. My real need is, I'm kind of like a Walt Disney. Okay. I've got all these ideas. All right. And yeah, that's nice. When I got out to California, I love, Tam, being around creative people like you. Okay. I love these ideas. I love connecting, making friends, networking.
Right.
And being just a good person, being kind, like what you're doing. This world could use a good old dose of kindness. So what I'm really looking forward is connecting with folks who have the resources, okay, that we can, like what you're saying with Stedman, as far as coming together and connecting with people using the brainstorming, okay. I'll use the word watershed, okay.
Right.
But just like, I just want to connect with folks. Again, and education's nice. I've got a website on Cafe Press where you can get Swampy mugs, T-shirts, which is kind of a fun thing. You'll see it on planetswampy.com and
awesome.
swampy.org. My main website, by the way, is kentglade.com. I just want to share you that before I forgot about it. But a lot of these are just, you know, I created some designs. I paid a little bit of marketing, and I just have been, you know, I have been really lucky, Tam. And I wanted to share one thing with you right now. I wanted to tell you something that's very close to my heart. Back in the year 1997, I was driving back from Frankfurt to Lexington. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Can you not see me?
Are you still there, Tam?
Yeah, I'm okay. For some reason, we've got a problem.
Sure.
He'll be coming back in. Let me just make sure that he knows to come back in. And it's always fun in live streaming media. Oh, here he comes. Okay. Here we go. Okay, we're back. Okay. Yes, so you were saying, yes, that's always fun. Okay, so you were saying you were coming back and Right. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Start cracking jokes. And
That okay.
I'm not going to tell you, but I looked at the left side of my femur, okay, and I won't tell you what that looked like. But I'm like, so I accepted Christ when I learned when I was 12, and I learned the scientific method in college. Okay, so it's somewhere between faith and science.
Okay.
And so I'm going back and forth, Tam, between reality and there. You know? So anyway, I've had like 7 different surgeries. But the main thing that I learned, Tam, was like yourself, we only have 24/7. Okay.
Right.
And we are not promised another day. And when I got hit by that rock truck, Tam, I'm like, Lord, please help me connect with others who have a passion and a love for the planet. And for our future, for their grandkids, everybody wants to see a polar bear, wants to see a panda bear when their kids are here. Okay. So I share that with you. Okay. That experience, it really made it come home to me.
So thank you for sharing that. And I will say this, that, again, that touches me even personally, because my mother was in a car accident. 7 of her vertebrae was shattered, and over the court, but she had 27 major surgeries. Yet during that time, during that time, she affected more people because she realized that she was saved for a reason, and then she went out and through her work, she was able to affect so many people, touch so many lives, and oftentimes that's what happens. You think, even in terms of, I talk about Frank Shankwitz a lot, but his story is that he, the founder of Make-A-Wish, he actually was in an accident where they said he passed away. Someone brought him back. He came back, and then he had a plan, an avenue to serve one child and make a wish, and now we have an international program granting wishes, and and so these are the people that I think, okay, yes, it's not always easy, but you're called, and oftentimes when you're called for something, you're going to also have challenges, and there's going to be, are you really called? Is this really something? And you have to kind of push through it, and then the doors start opening. So for you, what do you need for those doors to open, for these programs to go out there, before we lose any more animals, before we lose any more, whatever it may be, because we're not aware?
It's good. I need a resource base. The main thing is to work with folks. Okay. Got some great ideas. I want to put kids involved. Kids, they had this thing called Climate Strike recently, Tam, where kids all around the world came together and they wanted to talk about climate. I think her name is Gertie. She's from Germany. She's been nominated for a Nobel Prize, and she spoke for the generation of kids looking at a future that may, like Al Gore said, at some time reach thresholds. Okay. We don't really know if we can go back or not. But again, it gets back to science. And again, it's our sustainability. It's our future. It's our generations. So what I'm really wanting to do is connect with somebody who's got a passion for the environment, who really deals in kindness, deals in education, and, just having the resources to take a program. And it's not about me. In a lot of ways, it's not even about Swampy. It's about what's needed on the planet.
Right, right. And
You know,
swampy is your vehicle, or it's to catch the attention,
right?
right?
And
And
it's
I
fun.
get that. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly fun. And and you got to do what, when you're, like you said before, when you're doing it by yourself in the very beginning, you got to just get that awareness out there. You're taking that message out. You have the programs,
Right.
right? You've got them
Yes.
figured out.
Right.
So you've got a ready-made situation. You just need now to team with the right people to then take it out there and get you to that next level.
Exactly. And not just educationally. I mean, that's the reason I have planetswampy.com. Oh, I've got you saw my Swampy doll, okay?
Yeah, yeah. Let's bring Swampy up again. Swampy
Yeah.
doll
Well,
up
it's
again.
like, kids can put, that helps them learn again using color association. They can
Uh-huh.
put Velcro. Oh, let's put this snake in the water. Oh, let's put this heron, okay, over here. Oh, look, we've got some orcas. Tam, I went to two places that I absolutely love. And it's the good old US of A. It's called Alaska and Hawaii.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
I want, for example, like Alaska, they've got so many wetlands there. And I got a chance to see a grizzly bear come right up to our bus. And
Wow.
I got it on a cam better than Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, Marlon. Okay. So I got this grizzly bear coming up behind us, and there was a car behind us. They had a dog barking right behind us. Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
All
Got
this
it.
energy. Okay. I'm like, so anyway, this Mother Grizz came up, and there was a sign. So help me. It said, "No feeding the bears." So she takes her back against the sign, and she's doing this number. Okay.
Uh,
And I've got it on video. It's great. So anyway, I was blessed to be able to capture that in real time. But anyway, yeah, Swampy and animal stories. Loves animals. So yeah.
and is this? I pulled this one up. This one image with the what do we have, like a,
It's our
what do
marine.
we have going on there? Yeah, the marine life.
Yeah.
Is that? Go ahead.
That's a real big deal. Right now, we have a lot of water, okay? And a lot of people think there is this equation called dilution is the solution to pollution, okay?
Huh.
And we've got so many people here and we've done so much polluting, okay, that we're endangering the great coral reefs, okay? For example, Australia, climate change, warm waters, phosphates, nutrients, killing see, I don't know if a lot of people know it, but those coral reefs are like rainforests, okay? All the different organisms, and we lose that, and it's going on. Scientists are like, hey, and people are just like, they're not paying attention. And like the whales and the dolphins, we've got to take care of these creatures.
Oh, I know. I got to swim with the dolphins when
Oh,
they say, because I'm in San Diego. We have SeaWorld. I went over there, and
yes.
did that one time, and
Uh-huh.
it was pretty incredible. Yes, some people may have an issue with the location. I just wanted to have a moment in time with this amazing, beautiful, and marine life, dolphin, beautiful, being able to just spend that time. It was pretty incredible to me. And hello, Amy. Yeah, I'm going to stop here. I want to say, Amy, shout out to Amy Morrison of the Friend Zone. She invited me to be on a marathon last night with Mikey Adam Cohen.
Hey, Amy.
In the Friend Zone, and we had just an amazing time. And Amy, let me just suggest that you need to join the Friend Zone, Swampy. And Amy, you may just want to bring Swampy on as a guest, because he would have so much fun. Everybody would have so much fun with him in the Friend Zone. And I don't usually do that, but I just think, just you guys talk. So anyway,
Okay.
because you need to be a part of that community, because it's a great group, and I just love them. And Swampy is someone I met, Amy, in San Diego, and you need to, if you're just joining us right now, Swampy is fun, and he is educating, and so that we can save basically our planet, and he's doing it in many fun ways, and it's just really a great program. And yes, it was wonderful to spend time with you last night. And all right, awesome. So she's going to connect. It's always fun.
Yeah.
And I love this, because and I'm going to say, those people that watch this later in replay, I want you to connect with Swampy. Let's support Swampy, because I don't know about you, but I certainly want my great-grandchildren to know what a gorilla is, and not because they've seen it in a book. I want my great-grandchildren to be able to have fresh water to drink, and I want them to have an environment where they're not worried that they cannot even be sustainable, and that they will not be able to go forward because we didn't take care of things now. And it's really important. This is important, and it's a different subject than I've had on my show so far. Swampy has such a unique message, and he's been called to do this. This is a man that is sacrificing, and he's putting his resources into this. He is spending his time and his passion, and he needs help to get this out there in a big way. As you've seen and listened to him, this is an intelligent, well-educated man that's been there and done that in the industries that have issues and could be considered impactful. And he's been in the government. He's been there, FEMA, when there's huge national, disasters. He has a unique background, and yet he's willing to wear overalls and put stick on animals and stuff to make a point. And so it's approachable. Yes, and you can't take this one serious for long, because he makes it fun.
Y'all have met Patch Adams. Don't you see the movie Patch Adams with Robin Williams?
Of course.
I got a chance to meet him. And guess what Patch was wearing the time that I was there, Tam? He was up on the stage in his clown outfit. Well, guess what I had on? My swampy overalls.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for doing what you do, because you do. You may, and I mean, you can't see how tall he is, but he makes how tall are you?
I'm about 6 foot.
Yeah. So, I mean, and for me, that's, and then with your hat and everything, you make your presence known, because you're in your swampy stuff. You got your hat going on, and right. with your attitude and your fun and everything, you make an impression. Well, and then you can back it up with fun and information.
And let me tell you a true story as well. About 15 years ago, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service had contacted me and Bill Nye, and we were actually in the point as far as being considered to do a live with over 250 schools in the U.S. on fish and wildlife, based out of San Diego.
Oh.
So that's Bill Nye, and I lost out to what's called the electronic hearing. It was like a computer gadget, They didn't have to pay me money, So, but anyway, that was a true story. So yeah, I had a chance to be out there. I've just been waiting, and I continue to again seek a connection with folks who love the environment but really want to do something. I'm not into ego. I really just want to basically do the best things and think about the long, using my what I've been learned to, Tam, like yourself. Okay. We have unique experiences here, and such a blessing, just to share those.
Yeah, and I want to double back on something that you said, because we had talked about it, like in San Diego, because you've been to the Southern California area, you love it. That there's the nonprofit K's that I've been talking a lot about, that Mikey Adam Cohen talks a lot about, that they have an educational program that they're taking out to kids. And so we were talking about that. And so you were referring to one of the founders, Stedman, and then Bobby is also, and the two founders, and they have a program that they're taking out through the educational processes, and from, actually, I think it's all the different school grades. Right. And so that's similar to what you want to do. And we were talking about that. And the as we wrap this up, the way that I see it is that if you could somehow, I loved it when you said Walt Disney. I got it. Because, Walt Disney had a mouth. You have Swampy.
I will say this about Walt. He was not really known for doing real good with his money. And he came into some financial issues. And if it hadn't been for, I think it was Roy Disney, okay, or one of his relatives, okay, he basically, financially gave him some guidance. Because a lot of creative people, a little bit challenged in the area of economics, finances. But yeah, that's what I'm wanting to share with you. And don't forget, Tam, I wanted to tell you that one funny story before we leave. Okay.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. You're prime. Tell us the funny story.
Okay, great. Back in like 1990s, they used to have this program. It was called Rio to the Capitals. That's when we had people came from all around the world, concerns about climate change. And they came together, everybody, to try to do these great things with all these different governments. So they met at Rio down in South America. Then they had to follow up in Louisville, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, they had this one group called One Earth. I said, well, they had Vice President Al Gore at the time talking, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to remember, I'm from the 70s, okay? You're right, that was a big time under Nixon and Carter. We had a lot of environmental programs. So I'm like, I'm doing this and I'm doing Swampy. I think it's kind of cool. I want to take it to the next level. I want to meet then Vice President Al Gore.
Okay.
So on rollerblades, I've got my Swamp tunes cranked up. And people go, what the? And they just, here I come, okay? And here comes the Secret Service. True story. They pissed me off, jumped on my costume because they thought I had a bomb at the time. And that was back in the 90s. So, hey, I'm still around here, 30 years later, very fortunate to be breathing. And yeah, great for sharing with you guys today.
And that shows how determined you are, and how this is actually to the core of you. You would not be doing this so many decades later if it wasn't something that you were so completely passionate about and believe in it so very much. Let me ask you one last question and then we'll wrap it up. If something could have happened back then, how many animals do you think would still, certain lines, certain types of animals, how many groups have we lost forever because it didn't happen then? And if we don't do it now and we wait another 30 years, how many more animals do you think? And then even more than that, of course, all the other stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, Tam, I would like to encourage the folks watching this video that check on Nat Geo Wild. I've been watching that recently, and whether it's the mountains and the snow leopard and the different challenges it have versus, like I told her, our oceans, okay, and the problems we have with plastics in our oceans and animals, as well as the rainforest. When we are down, I want to see the rainforest. I'm really concerned once you start putting roads, okay, and cutting up the rainforest and educating, okay, the indigenous people to some degree, okay, and incorporating materialism into their natural ways. I love the Native Americans, okay. I really believe in 500 nations. But when you have that, you're changing entire ecosystems. And they use the word evolve. Oh, well, that's okay because we have virtual reality. Really? You're going to say virtual reality when the real thing, you know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, it all depends on which ecosystem. Are we talking about the Serengeti Plains? Are we talking about the Everglades? We have real problems with invasive species down there. We have something called the Burmese python. The thing is eating up all the creatures down there. They had a picture one day the other day, Tam. It was like 30-foot snake, huge. It had like 73 babies or whatever. And the things proliferate and we can't stop them. Mm-hmm. And that's a separate issue called invasive species versus endangered species. So there's across the board, there's a lot of things to consider.
So the bottom line is the longer we wait, the more we're going to have issues that we may not be able to do do-overs.
Right. And a classic example is this year's is on endangered wildlife habitat for Earth Day. That's one of the major themes. And yeah, people want to, develop. There's a big push right now in this country, business and lessening our regulatory ways. But that's part of the regulatory process. Economy drives business, but we have to balance that, okay, with regulation, hopefully carrot versus stick. But yeah, once we lose them, they're gone. And whether you talk about the oceans or all these different ecosystems, it's sad to see. We've got a lot of them, and something we don't even know about still.
Right, I'm sure. So what is the one thing you can leave us with that is a positive, something that maybe even we can do today to help, that we can do? What would you share?
The main thing I was going to share is with the Environmental Protection Agency. It's the old slogan: think globally, act locally.
Okay, that's good.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what everybody doing their little bits, and together we can work all this out.
I like that. That's a good close. That's good. So think globally, act locally.
Exactly.
Simple yet so powerful.
And I wanted to share real quick with our audience. I'm on Twitter @PlanetSwampy. Follow me there. I'm also on Facebook. But yeah, I just want to thank you again, Tam. This has been great. And it's great since I've been meeting you. I'm so happy for you. And I'd love to network with you and other creative folks.
Okay.
And do something powerful. Like you say, powerful service. Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. Exactly.
Why don't you do this too? After the show, go into the comments and put all of your links. How can people get a hold of you and put them and attach them to the show? And so then that way they can go in there and find it, and they can get a hold of you, find out more, and remember to put in the links to your store so that they can right. Support you that way, because what you're doing is so important. And I just want to say thank you for taking this on and not giving up.
Thank you. That means a lot to me, Tamara. It really does.
Yeah, it's true, because I know how easy it can get at times, because to give up when you are doing something so big and you're doing it alone. And, I just want to say thank you for that. And anybody that can, even if you can just say, hey, I love what you're doing, put it in the comments, give them a pat on the back, see what you can do to help any which way, because, every little comment, every little, connection and way to go and how can I help, that's goes a long way when that person is doing it, quote unquote, alone. And that validation is huge, right?
It really, especially creatives. I think, I've always been a very sensitive person. And like when I was younger, I got bullied or whatever. Okay. But I've always, like you said, I haven't given up. A lot of times.
Yeah.
But, we're driven and thankful to still be here. So, yeah.
Yeah. Grateful. Absolutely. Okay. Any last words?
I think, let's see, the last thing I was going to say was just connect with me. I'm big on Earth Day. If you have any questions about Earth Day, please send those to me, Kent Glade at Gmail or PlanetSwampy at Gmail. And let's hook up on that. Also, education. I'm big on that. And also on the commercial side, I've got movies going on. And check out my websites. But I'll be putting those things on there, like you say, Tam. And my big thing is making the technical touchable. So
I like that. Yeah. That's good. And Twitter, I'm impressed.
Oh yeah, Twitter. That's what I'm saying. I've got a pretty good follow. I've got about 4,000 total in my family, but it's taken a while to do that. I know you're big on Facebook. Bless you.
It's because I understand it. I had to start somewhere. And I just made a stand here, and I didn't understand any of it. I still, learning. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. We won't go into that. But Twitter is, that's thank goodness now I have some ambassadors, and they know it, and so you guys are gonna start seeing us better presence in some of these other social media platforms here soon. Just wait. Chemo Buddies is going to be everywhere, and I'm excited about that because we really are making a difference. Really seriously, because when you get down to it, what Swampy's doing is going to make such a difference if we can get that message out there. And Chemo Buddies for Life, yes, we are starting to we are touching lives, and we're going to watch out. It's going to be as big as Make-A-Wish. There's no doubt in my mind. You hear you have cancer, you're going to know to go get a buddy, and those people that love and support, yes, you're going to need a buddy too. Come empower.
We need to empower all people,
right.
All makes and genders and race or whatever.
Exactly.
Okay. We're all one. And again, we have this one, there's no planet B.
Exactly. Absolutely. So, as we close day number 236 of 365 days of awesome, celebrate success through service. Swampy, I just want to say you are a man that has such tenacity and stick-to-itiveness and such a deep calling to help us make our world a better place. Not only that, to keep it sustainable. I personally want to say thank you. Thank you for your calling. Thank you for not giving up. And thank you for making it fun, because you know what? I absolutely love your energy and just everything about you. And I have from the moment I met you. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being my friend.
Let's do this thing, okay?
Absolutely. I'm all for it. And anybody that's in my group here, because it's not my group. We are all collective. And any of you throughout the world, I'm talking to you now. Let's get behind Swampy. Because if you want to be drinking water, which I kind of like doing, let's keep this going. Let's clean things up. Let's learn what we need to do, and let's go forward. Okay.
That's great. Thank you so much again, Tamara.
You're welcome. And Amy is saying thank you.
Hey, hello.
All right. Yeah. All right. I'm going to close now. So you take care. Remember to put your information in, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Bye.
Take care.